Sis, how many times have you found yourself in a situationship where you are giving your time, you're giving your heart, and maybe you even giving your body to this man? But when one of your friends or someone else asks you, what are y'all? Crickets. See, you've been allowing him to enjoy all the benefits of a relationship without the commitment. And deep down inside, you know that you deserve clarity, but you've been taught that wanting a title makes you needy or demanding. Sis, here's the truth. Titles are not just labels. They're containers of love, for safety, and for clarity. And without them, women like you who are successful, who are driven, and deeply deserving end up doing all the emotional labor for the man without him ever earning that access to you. And that's why today I am helping you to unpack what it really means to love him without a title, why so many successful Black women end up in this place, and how to break free from this era. I am a coach and I specifically work with Black professional women to help them relax their boss mode and be able to show up in that loving, nurturing, softer side in their relationship without feeling like they need to lose their title or their power. With that being said, we are talking about loving that man, loving your boo without a title. And should you do that or shouldn't you, sis? Here's why title-free relationships feel attractive at first. One of the things that I like to think about is that they seem really low pressure, meaning there are no labels and there are no expectations. So you think. I'll come back to that. Another thing that comes to mind is low pressure often leads to low effort. When there is no clarity, when there is no direction, when there are no expectations in the relationship, specifically for the man, you will stay in that box. When I had a conversation recently with my ex-husband, and if you're following me on YouTube, it's on my YouTube channel. It's called The Conversation That You Wish You Could Have with Your Ex. And during that course of that conversation, he confirmed what I have been saying for years. And I've heard it from other men, but to hear it from one of my exes solidified the fact that I know what I'm talking about, which is he told me that when he first met me, he knew that he was going to marry me. Now, he didn't act on it until a few years later. And we did get married. Obviously, I just said he's my ex-husband. But all of that's to say, if I would have gone to him with no expectations, if I would have gone to him and just kind of went with the flow without having any standards put in place for him to meet those things, it could have gone a different way. Sis, this is exactly why I created my quiz. What's blocking you from being soft in love? So you can really figure out what's holding you back, what's stopping you from truly seeing what's holding you back, so you can be clear when it's time to date once again. Why you keep attracting the men that you are attracting, why you keep repelling the men that you say that you want. If any of these things are resonating with you, before you move forward, look down below for the link to take the quiz today. I know that you can figure out what's blocking you. Not only will you receive your results, you'll also receive a 3-page action plan to take action to start changing things around. Take the quiz today. Now, let's get back to it. So if you are a sister that consistently just jumps in a relationship just to be in a relationship, in your mind, you might have long-term there may be marriage there, but I've seen this happen time and time again where ladies say, I don't really want nothing. And then all of a sudden they go in there and there's really low pressure. And when there's low pressure, there is some of that attraction to you because it is low pressure, right? But the flip side of that low pressure is it really does show up in the low commitment or no efforts being put into place. Now, there are some unicorns out there. I'm not talking about the unicorns. I am talking about the mass majority of how things play out. When there are no expectations, the effort seems to match the no expectations, right? You're thinking that maybe you want to start actually dating this person. You don't want to just see them when it's time to have sex. You don't want to just text on the phone. You don't want to just converse on the phone or FaceTime or whatever, however the communication is happening between the two of you. You don't want to just do that. You want to actually be in their company. And what you don't realize, which is what I said, I'm gonna come back to, that no expectations. What you don't realize is that you're silently putting expectations on this man who does not have a title with you. 62% of women say that they've been in a relationship where the man was resistant to defining it. I'm going to push back just a tiny bit and say the reason why that number is even so high is because a lot of us as women are not knowing what we want when we get into the relationship. We would rather go along with the flow to say that we are dating and or have somebody versus not being in a relationship, owning where you're at, growing in your singleness, loving where you're at, instead of going that route, owning who you are, and even focus on some of your weak areas of weakness so you can be better the next time a relationship comes around. Instead of us doing that, we're just going along with the flow. We're just, he's not defining it, so let's just see where things go. And whenever we're in flow mode, we as the woman usually loses. We get the losing end of the stick. You don't have to be a part of the 62%. You could be a part of that. What is that? 38%? Yeah, 38% of women that are not waiting for the man to, they're not waiting if the man is resistant. If he's resistant to a title, they're like, okay, I understand. Because you know what? Each and every one of us are entitled to where we're at. If he's not ready for a relationship, but you are, sis, it is now up to you to make the next move. Do you continue to go along with his plan and he's not ready for what you're ready for? Or do you say, okay, that's cool. Enough is enough, and you shut it all down? Like, we cannot continue to blame the other person all the time. Yes, he has some blame in it, but you have to take what your blame is in your own situationship. You can cut off that situationship at any time. It's just a matter of if you are strong enough to walk forward in cutting things off, shutting things down. You don't care. You're asking for what you need because you know that you are deserving and asking that. You are deserving and asking for clarity. It is not something that is making you look needy or demanding. It is what it is. I would just read this thing on Facebook, and it was a relationship thing. And essentially, the lady was writing in to say that she had been in a relationship for 10 years, a whole decade of her life. She was waiting. Now, this is to be married, but she was waiting for the ring. It wasn't a situationship, but it still goes into all of what we're talking about, which is her waiting for a definition, waiting for something that she knows that she wanted. And long story short, the man, they broke up. They didn't say what happened, but they're no longer in a relationship. 6 months later, the man is married. Now, why was he married 6 months later? Without knowing anything about their story, I will say she had standards, she had expectations, and she did not go along with just the flow of let's see where things go. A man will show up when he's ready to show up, and it's the woman that's demanding. Yes, I said demanding. When she's demanding to be respected in a way, he will show up in a way if that is where he wants to go, and he wants to go with her. It doesn't mean just because you're putting down these expectations or boundaries or anything like that he's going to abide to them. That's okay, though. You still can make a choice to say, I'm either going to deal with what he's giving me, or I'm going to shut everything down. So we cannot put 100% on the other person all the time. We have to take some accountability for where we are at and why we are where we are. Sis, this is exactly why I created my quiz. What's blocking you from being soft in love? So you can really figure out what's holding you back, what's stopping you from truly seeing what's holding you back, so you can be clear when it's time to date once again. Why you keep attracting the men that you are attracting, why you keep repelling the men that you say that you want. If any of these things are resonating with you, before you move forward, look down below for the link to take the quiz today. I know that you can figure out what's blocking you. Not only will you receive your results, you'll also receive a 3-page action plan to take action to start changing things around. Take the quiz today. Now, let's get back to it. Another thing that comes to mind is the illusion of progress without the commitment. Why an illusion? Because there are no titles, right? And when you don't have titles, the time that you are spending together, you are laughing and joking, you are starting to learn one another. Your guards are kind of down because, again, it's light. There are no expectations. You are showing up fully who you are. He's showing up fully who he is, meaning what you want to show one another in that moment based off of the time that you spent together and how the conversation is flowing, how much ease, how you feel with this person, right? But it's an illusion because it's not progress. It's not progress without direction. When you do not have a direction on where the relationship is going, there cannot be any progress. Love without clarity leaves you emotionally invested with no guarantee. Emotionally invested with no guarantee. I saw this statistic and I want to bring it here. Nearly half of US adults, which is approximately 47%, say that situationships are becoming the new normal. You don't have to be a part of this new normal that's going around. There's 53%, more than half, are saying, I'm not being a part of this situationship that most people, that other people are making a normal part of their lives and or society. You can go against the grain of what society is doing. You can go against the grain of what your cousins and besties and all of those people are doing because you want something different. 47% is the minority. And yet it is, I'm sure this number is rising because this was done in 2023. That research number, 47%, is saying that situationships are the new normal. We can continue to drive that number down based off of our choices, based off of what we're willing to do if this person does not meet our standards and our expectations. When we're loving somebody without a title, and let's be real, there are no guarantees in life, right? But especially when you're giving yourself, you're giving your time, you're giving your energy, you're giving your effort, you're giving your brain, you're giving your hugs, you're giving their love, all of these things to a person where there are no titles, there's absolutely no guarantee that they're willing to move forward and make you more than what you started off as. A lot of times I really, really stress with my clients, specifically those who are in the dating scene, to know the type of relationship that you want. If you know that you are in situationship territory at this time of your life, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the ladies who know that they want more in a relationship, whether it's a commitment to that person today. It could be the commitment to move, not moving in, the commitment to moving the relationship forward, where it goes into engagement and then marriage eventually. Those are the people that I'm talking to. If this is you, sis, you must know the type of relationship that you want. Even if it's a long-term commitment, but you don't necessarily want marriage. I don't recommend that, but that's your thing. You have to know where you're at, right? There are no guarantees, specifically when there are no titles there. And it really just depends on both of you being mature enough to know that you are in a relationship and you are consistently choosing to be in that relationship with that person day in and day out. So that's something that's something else that's going on. Another thing that came to mind was the cost of the emotional labor without the title. There's a cost without a title. You may be cooking, you may be nurturing this person, you may be supporting him without any of it being reciprocated to you. There's that giving, and he's taking, but when it's time for you to be given to, he's nowhere to be found. You're giving him wifey. You're giving him wifey energy while he is giving you convenience energy. When he has free time is when he shows up for you, not because you two are a thing. right? Again, going back to y'all out together. And somebody like, oh, is this your boo? And they're asking you in front of the male. And he jumps in and says, oh, no, we're just friends. We just friends, but we're doing a whole lot of things that you shouldn't be doing with somebody that just has the title as friend. Are you in this situation? This is part of the cost of being there and showing up time and time again for somebody who is not willing to give you a title, who's not willing to define where the relationship is. All of these things start to break apart. This could even come in the form of where you're helping him to prepare for like a job interview or something, but then he won't even post the two of you online together. Like, how does that work? He's literally just taking everything that you are giving. Everything that you are giving to him, he is taking. But when can you take from him? And according to what I'm thinking and what I know to be true, usually you won't get that from him because he's not your person. And honestly, you're not his person. It is what it is. We have to accept what's right in front of our face instead of what we want to be in our face. Their potential, the fantasy. We can't live off of any of that. We have to see what's right in front of us and deal with reality today. Another thing that came to mind is this is why clarity is not being clingy. Asking what we are is not desperation. It is discernment. It is that knowing. It is that gut feeling like, I feel like something may be here, or I'm feeling like there's nothing here, but let me just see. And if he cannot answer the what are we question specifically behind closed doors, I'm not talking about in front of your friends or anything, or even in front of his friends, or even in front of his family. No, just with the two of you. If the conversation gets changed, if there is just quietness, meaning no answer at all of those are your answer. It's just a matter of how you perceive and look at this information and data that he handed to you. It's all about your looking at this information and saying, he didn't answer my question directly, but he answered my damn question. I am not his and he is not mine. Nor does he have a plan for me to be his. So if I had a plan for him to be mine, I need to be doing and making other plans without him being involved and not being scared to have said conversation because of this may end. Well, it hasn't even started, sis. This hasn't even started because he's not willing to give you the things that you deserve, which is a title. And that's the very least. And if he's not willing to give you this small piece, there is no way that you're going to get to the final destination in your eyes. Engagement in your eyes, marriage in your eyes, children. And I'm not talking about oops children. I'm talking about intentional making families, being there, both of you, making a life together, building a family together, building an empire together. If he can't give you the title now, this small thing, there's no way that you're getting the big picture. Absolutely not from him. And that's okay. That's okay. It's just a matter of you accepting the information. So you're not just giving of your time and decades later before you finally wake up to say, I have been wasting my damn time. You can make an informed decision early on, which is what I highly recommend when I'm working with my clients. When they come to me and they're giving me scenarios on what's actually happening in their relationships, whether they're single and dating relationships or whether they're in a marriage, and I hear what's actually going on, I give you my best opinion. And I say my best opinion because I'm not a part of your relationship. And there are definitely details that you have left out, whether intentionally or not. They are left out. And so I don't know because it's not my relationship. But at the end of the day, there are things that I can hear that are not right, or I can hear that are right, because I'm pro relationship, I'm pro marriage. But I can't be the person that's pro on the outside and you're in it and neither one of y'all are for one another. Right? So I'm going to rabbit hole. Clarity is not clingy. Boundaries actually communicate the self-respect that you have for yourself as well as for the other person. It's not neediness. It's just clarification. Where we at? Are we on the same page or not? It's okay if we're not. Like when I say for real, it's okay. I really want you to understand that it is okay. Not with attitude, not with F you, not with you spent all my time, not what I gave you all my years, because all of those are choices that you decided to make. You knew that you were not getting what you needed to get after, when he starts showing his true self. And we're talking about a situationship. So his true self should come out so much sooner than somebody that did give you the title, but they're hiding but they're hiding behind the facade. You should see his true character and how much he is for you or not sooner, because you are in a situationship. And if you notice that you are like, I want to take this further with this person. I'm really digging the vibe. I'm feeling the energy. I want to give more time. I want to give more energy. And you take the initiative to bring up that conversation, but it falls on deaf ears. Sis, let it fall to the damn ground. And now take your next step. The choice is simple. You can stay and keep dealing with it, or you move on. And that moving on may be you ain't dating nobody for a minute. Or maybe that moving on is you completely kick him out of the picture and somebody else that wanted your time, energy, effort, you pay attention more to them. It's not always the other person's fault. People in clearly defined relationships report 35% higher satisfaction levels than those in undefined ones. Nobody said it was perfect when you get into this relationship, when you get the title, because each of us are imperfect people trying to build a perfect relationship. And intellectually, we know that we are going to be hurt by this person because they're not perfect. We still feel deeply offended when it happens because it's coming from somebody that you don't want to feel this pain from. And I get it. But just understand that your level of satisfaction will be up higher 35% by having clarity and not just going along with the flow. You're already doing something right when you get the clarity. Moving on. Social media plays a part in this and how we are taking this on, this no title culture thing on. We have these talking stages and vibes only where they are glorified on these online platforms. The digital culture rewards ambiguity. And I can't even say it. Ambiguity, not commitment. Digital culture rewards ambiguity. Ambiguity. Ambiguity and not commitment. For example, there may be couples posting each other's hands but never their faces to avoid accountability. And I've actually seen this done. Now that I'm thinking about this. I've seen a lot of the hands, right? And I'm not knocking them. You do you. Some people are private, but they're actually in a relationship. But then there are those people that I have known personally that have shown the hands, and it's because of the situationship. It's because of the status of the relationship that one party in that relationship, which is usually the man, it's not always, but usually the man, who doesn't want to show the world the other person. And sometimes it's because they're married, let's be real. Sometimes they're just not ready to define the relationship, which is we're talking about here. And then other times they just don't want to do that with you. I've been there. It's no fun. Posting, I'm feeling like something is growing, but I'm not paying attention to what's actually happening. The post gets taken down or the tag is removed, but I'm not paying attention. I want you to pay attention because I didn't pay attention, and it don't feel good. Don't just allow the person to post your hands if you've never posted your face. That's free right there. That's free. That's free. Let's talk about what the titles do represent. Titles are not ownership. Titles are agreements. They're not ownership, they are agreements. Titles create safety. Titles create clarity. Titles create accountability. I know that we say I'm yours and you're mine. We know I'm not yours and you're not mine. We are both making the choice to choose one another every day. And then it keeps building until we are saying I do. And we still have to choose one another every single day, because that person is going to get on your diggity doggone nerves and you're going to get on the other person's diggity doggone nerves. So both of y'all are going to be eking one another. Both of you are going to get on each other's nerves. But titles keep the both of you safe. They clear up any unknown, what are we type. It clears all of that up. Couples who establish explicit agreements are 43% less likely to break up in the first year when it's established. Obviously, if it's not established, even though you break up, it really wasn't a breakup because it was never defined. It was a situationship all along. Building the courage to ask for clarity is very important, not only for you, but also for the relationship as a whole. A lot of times women keep quiet and don't ask for clarity for the fear of being rejected. So they just continue to go along with the flow. For example, saying that I'm ready for clarity. If you're not, I'll step away. It's totally fine. It's not necessarily an ultimatum because I don't like ultimatums. It just means it is what it is. This is where I'm at. If you're not here, it's okay. We don't have to be on the same page. I know where I am at, and I know what I want, and I know what I deserve. If you're not willing to meet me where I am at, I'm okay.